Next guy here, Devin Singletary.
Bird up. Right, that's what they say?
Rise up.
Rise up.
Rise
Okay,
up.
man.
Bird up. There's a lot of confidence.
Bird up.
Bird up.
baby.
Come on.
Maybe they'll give that a spin.
Bird up. Yeah. You're in the Georgia Dome. I'm birding up.
It finna be birds down.
Yeah, exactly.
Hashtag
Well,
bird up.
this is an old song. This is probably before either of your time, but there's a song by Morris Day and the Time called "The Bird." It was Morris Day and the Time were in Purple Rain with Prince. He's one of the Prince proteges. Anyway, I love Morris Day and the Time, and that's one of their songs, which is just like a goofy,
They can
really
play
fun
it after
song.
Michael
Yeah,
Penix throws a touchdown. Everybody
have
has
you
to bird
heard
up
about the bird? Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway.
All right, Motor
Shout out to Morris Day
Singletary.
and the Time.
He's got
Wherever you are.
He's got the Commanders. Listen, Devin Singletary, enough volume, Lawrence, in week 1. He gets 10 carries. He gets 5 targets. The good thing is the matchup here looks better for him, and he still feels like the guy in this backfield. Are you keeping this one open?
Yeah, I'm going to keep this open. Got him as RB24, so that's fringe running back 2 for me. Like you say, Rachaad White was able to get 16.5 fantasy points against this Commanders defense in week 1. Despite him only having 30 rushing yards, he did it mostly through the receiving game there. Bucky Irvin had 76 scrimmage yards versus Washington. So there you saw 2 different running backs have some success against the Commanders' run defense. And then you look at the fact that Tyrone Tracy and Eric Gray only combined for 4 carries. So with all those facts, I'm going to keep it open with Devin Singletary and put him as a little flex play if you need him.
I'm right there with you, Lawrence. I'm at 26, so I'm 2 spots lower than you just because he didn't do much. But to your point about the workload, in a game in which they got boat raced by the Vikings, Devin Singletary still got 14 touches. He got 71% of the team's running back touches. He had a 13% target share in this game as well. To your point about my Commanders defense, they were top 12 in terms of most fantasy running back points allowed in week number 1. Both Rachaad White and Bucky Irving got going. I think this will be a closer game. I hope my Commanders are able to win this one, but I don't think they're going to blow them out. And so I certainly think the workload of Devin Singletary keeps him in that flex territory. If you're in a league where you were thinking about starting Devin Singletary, a 12-team or deeper league, I have Singletary again at running back 26. So I'm going to continue to keep it open on him.
Sticking with the running backs, but somebody a little further down the list. Jaylen Warren's got the Broncos. Matthew, he comes in as RB37 for you after a week where he didn't get a lot of work. Maybe because of the hamstring injury, but we simply aren't sure of what it was.
Yeah, just played 29% of the snaps in week 1. They're easing him back in as well. Only 4 total touches last week. That was the same number as Cordero Patterson. Shout out the great Cordero Patterson. I need to see it first before I can trust Jaylen Warren in my lineup. I need to see it. I need to see the guy that we saw last year. I want to see him fully healthy, and I want to see him getting a full workload. I want to see the Steelers' offense look competent. Again, they managed a bunch of field goals against
it was weird. It was weird because they moved the ball at will, never could score.
Yeah, they faltered in the red zone. Anyway, I'm going to close it out. He's my running back 37 this week as well. I think, again, until we see it for once on the field, I think Najee Harris the only Steelers running back you can trust.
Yeah, he's running back 36 for me, and just seeing Cordero Patterson have 2 more carries than Jaylen Warren, that's alarming. Like, you can't just say, oh, it was just 1 week. He still might be dealing with the injury, but to see Najee, and again, when Justin Fields is starting, that's going to take away touches from your running back. It's definitely going to take away touches from your second running back. So Najee Harris and Justin Fields combined for 34 carries for 127 rushing yards. So where is there room to really go with that? Then you look at the fact that this Broncos and Steelers game totals at 36.5. That's the lowest of week 2 by a big margin, 2.5 points. The Chargers and the Panthers is set at 39 points. So to see the Steelers and the Broncos game that low, that just lets you know it's going to be a running game.
All right, moving over to a wide receiver here in Deontay Johnson. He's got the Chargers. It was not pretty for the Panthers offense, Lawrence. And Deontay Johnson this week, not a great matchup either. The Chargers under Harbaugh, they're going to be a stingier team on defense.
Yeah.
Can you keep this one open another week?
I could keep it open. And to say it wasn't pretty is an understatement for the Panthers. It was downright bad. And I think we all expect a nice year out of Deontay Johnson here. The silver lining is that the Chargers did let up 257 passing yards to Gardner Minshew in week 1. That's the 8th most in the NFL. Deontay Johnson played 66% of the snaps, which was second on the team. He was second in targets. Six targets is decent, but you want to see more, being that it's Deontay Johnson. But I'll keep it open another week.
I'm also going to keep it open. He's my wide receiver 33, so he's a high-end wide receiver 4, low-end wide receiver 3 for me this week. But to your point that you were starting him, I agree with you. You mentioned the targets last week. He also, in addition to those targets that he got, the 6 targets, 2 of them were in the end zone. Now, he didn't connect, obviously. It was a tough day at the office for Deontay Johnson, but hopefully better days are ahead against the Chargers, who, by the way, are almost a touchdown favorite in this one. So, in theory, the Panthers should be throwing often, and when they're throwing often, they're throwing to Deontay Johnson. Now, they got boat raced last week, and, they were throwing a lot, and it was kind of empty production to the extent there was any production for Deontay Johnson. So, even though they got beat badly and they were throwing a lot, it didn't really translate in production. But I'm willing to trust the talent here and the fact that they were looking for him as often as they were. 20% target share for him last week, plus the end zone targets gives me confidence. To your point, Gardner Minshew was able to move the ball against the Chargers.
How about Terry McLaurin on your Commanders, Matthew? Great news is they got the Giants this week, who did not look good against Sam Darnold and the Vikings week 1. Wasn't a great week 1, though, for Terry McLaurin himself, as much as Jaden Daniels' passing production came in garbage time.
Yeah, and Jaden Daniels didn't look great from an NFL perspective. I don't know what your thoughts were there.
I agree.
He fantasy-wise, we didn't care because he got you the rushing and he got you the 2 rushing touchdowns. But real NFL-wise, I thought, that's shaky. I don't think any of the rookie quarterbacks played particularly well.
The timing was off for literally everyone.
Yeah, it was tough. Having said that, Terry McLaurin is still, the number 1 wide receiver on a team that last week gave up 2 passing touchdowns. Justin Jefferson and Jalen Naylor both scored for the Vikings against the G-Men. His last 6 games against the Giants, weirdly, Terry McLaurin absolutely crushes. He's averaging over 17 fantasy points per game in his last 6 against the New York Giants. He had at least 13 points in 5 of those 6 games as well. As you see, I'm not exactly sure whatever. He started slow last year, I guess, is the point of this graphic as well. But, I think better days are ahead for Terry McLaurin, so I'm keeping it open to an extent. I'm at wide receiver 37, so again, he's a wide receiver 4 for me this week, but I'm not closing it out on Terry McLaurin just yet. I do think better days are ahead, and I think they start against the Giants on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this open. The Giants' secondary is a little worse than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' secondary. I think the big thing with Jaden Daniels, especially in the first half for them, they left the training wheels on them. And you could tell that by the fact that Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler was their leading 2 receivers on the day, and that was not even close. The good thing for Terry McLaurin, he was the leading wide receiver in targets there. So I think they'll take a shot this game at the Giants. They as down bad as the Browns or the Panthers right now. So you hit them, you saw good things with the Commanders. You didn't see no good things with the Giants, and Giants got the quarterback advantage. I think they take some shots to Terry McLaurin this round.
A different look for the Jaguars offense in week 1, Lawrence, where Christian Kirk played a little less than new additions Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas Jr., a guy that's been so reliable in fantasy, did not have a great week 1. Is that going to continue for him?
Yeah, probably. I said on Sunday, Fantasy Football pregame, that Brian Thomas Jr. would establish himself quickly as this team's top receiver, and Trevor Lawrence made a fantastic throw, probably the second best throw behind Richardson's bomb. Fantastic throw. Brian Robinson was there. Not crazy stats for Brian Thomas. Not great stats for him, but you could see that brewing already. I got Christian Kirk at wide receiver 47 this week. Not to mention, they're going up against the Browns defense. As bad as the Browns were on offense, they still held CeeDee Lamb to 5 catches and 61 yards. Matter of fact, Cowboys receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Jalen Tolbert, 10 receptions for 113 yards. That's not good for 3 wide receivers. So certainly now seeing that Christian Kirk looks like the number 3 receiver for right now, I'm going to keep it closed for this week.
To your point, the Browns allowed the 5th lowest catch rate to the slot in week 1, which is where Christian Kirk lines up. Brandon Cooks scored the touchdown against the Browns last week, but it's a bit of a broken play. Look, we know the Browns' defense is really good. The positives here, the game is in Jacksonville, but Christian Kirk did. I mean, you see my ranks there, right? He's wide receiver 42 for me. He's a wide receiver 5 for me this week. So I'm closing it out on Christian Kirk until I see it more. Again, the production that they got from Bigsby along with ETN in the passing game, the emergence of Brian Thomas. You're still going to get some Gabe Davis and Evan Ingram in this passing game. Just one of the pro Christian Kirk arguments was the amount of volume and targets that we expect him to get. We just didn't see that in week number 1. It's disappointing performance. So I'm going to close it out in a bad matchup where we're uncertain about his role. And you know what Christian Kirk did to me? Because I had Christian Kirk in a guillotine league. You know what he did with me?
He got you chopped.
Well, you know what else he did to me? He effed me. Lawrence, do you know where he effed me?
Well, that's not fun. It doesn't sound fun, to say the least.
No. But do you know where? Do you know where?
I know where.
All right,
I'll leave it to you, though.
There you go. There you go. You cowards.
We're gonna let that one die in the past.
Yeah, no, it was right up the chuckle hole.
There we
That's
go.
right.
There it
I'm
is.
just
Send
telling
it
you right
home.
now. Come on. 100%. Whatever. We got producer Adam is in the chair today.
Yeah.
So you know, whatever.
Steven's been away.
Yeah.
Wherever Steven is.
Fine. It's fine.
Substitute Teacher Day Part 2.
Adam told me before the show he already updated his LinkedIn. He's good.
There we go.
He's fine.
All right.
He's fine.
One more player on this list here, guys.
I just want to point out there's a list of people that have done that to me, and Christian Kirk is on it.
Was Mark Andrews the original?
Mark Andrews is the original.
Was the OG?
Yeah, he's the OG.
Okay.
Yeah.
Christian Watson against the
chopped
Colts.
in a guillotine league. It's unbelievably embarrassing.
Awful. As we said on yesterday's Chuckle Hole episode of Fantasy Football Happy Hour,
Yeah.
This really has nothing to do with the Green Bay wide receivers as much as this is about Christian Watson. It's the trickle effect of Malik Willis, or really any backup quarterback they have, but specifically Malik Willis in this situation, starting for Green Bay instead of Jordan Love. Take a listen to Coach LaFleur, what he had to say on the game plan for Malik Willis.
What's a reasonable percentage of the playbook for Malik Willis to know going into week 2 of the season?
Yeah, I would never, I can't answer that. Like, to put a percentage on it, I think it's reasonable to know that he'll know 100% of the game plan.
How much do you have to tweak, adjust the offense for Malik, or just going to go with what you guys got?
Would you want us to roll out the game plan for everybody?
I think that's the most abrasive I've ever seen Matt LaFleur.
That boy, man.
Yeah.
Who is like, smiley.
Yeah.
Oh, even in
knows.
tough times. This is obviously,
He knows what's about to happen.
understandably, it's very frustrating.
Very
I
frustrating.
mean, you got a quarterback who there's deep playoff run aspirations, there's MVP aspirations, and all of it is realistic. And then he goes out with 5 seconds left.
Right.
Like, it just sucks. So, I mean, I get it.
Same.
I think what you're looking for here, Lawrence, is you're looking for some bad Malik Willis stats. And you know what? I've got some bad Malik Willis stats.
I got him too.
He's attempted 15 deep passes. He's completed 2 of them. See, I don't think that's good. I'm no mathematician, but I just feel like 2 of 15. I feel like that's a bad percentage off the top of my head. His passer rating for his career, 48.7. Awesome. I don't think that's good. I got to be honest with you guys. And now he's got Christian Watson. Now he's got Romeo Doubs. Look, we talked about this yesterday, but I'm closing it out on Christian Watson. I ranked him wide receiver 48. That might have been too generous. That might have been too high. Look, I mean, here's the thing about Watson. He's a big play guy. He only needs one play to sort of make your week. But the odds of that happening again, Malik Willis has completed 2 of 15 deep pass attempts in his career. I just don't think you can, until we see Malik Willis look competent on the NFL field as a quarterback over the course of an NFL game, and we haven't seen that yet. We just haven't seen it. Until we see that, it is hard to say, oh, yeah, I'm going to start Romeo Doubs. I'm going to start Christian Watson. They were already shaky starts just because they spread the ball around so much, because they've also got Jaden Reed, because they've got Dontavian Wicks, because they've got the tight ends and Josh Jacobs. There's a lot of weapons there in Green Bay. But now you're like, how many 3-and-outs are they going to have under Malik Willis? How run-heavy are they going to be? I think they're going to be very run-heavy. I will say that, again, maybe Jaden Reed has become sort of interesting this week because they try to do some jet sweeps and quick short passes and try to get the ball in his hands because he's such an explosive playmaker. But that's the only one. I think
that's the package receiver that you can start.
That you could stomach.
Yeah.
But until we see it.
Yeah.
And, they're playing the Colts. They're playing the 0-1 Colts. This is two desperate 0-1 teams.
Well, I'll tell you about one of those desperate 0-1 teams, the Colts. They sacked C.J. Stroud 4 times.
Yes, they did.
And he kind of got bailed out of 2 interceptions. C.J. Stroud did. So that's even without even talking about Malik Willis, right? Get back to Christian Watson. 3 catches, 13 yards, and a touchdown. That's with Jordan Love, right? I guess the good thing you could say in Malik Willis's case, he's going to have some weapons. He's going to have a decent, reliable defense. Definitely going to have a run game. Josh Jacobs looked good. But
right. And Malik Willis has athletic ability,
he's
right?
Athletic, but that it won't help Christian Watson. His running, whatever rushing yards he get, ain't going to help Christian Watson. He's made 3 starts back in 2022. None of those starts he was able to throw 400 yards. He wasn't able to throw for a touchdown, but he did throw for 3 interceptions. But he ain't throw for what we need. So I have Christian Watson at wide receiver 52. Hell, I got Allen Lazard ranked higher than Christian Watson this week.
Yeah,
so I'm closing it. I'm locking it. I'm throwing it away.
Yeah. Willis, there may be potential fantasy value in Willis because of the legs, but
yeah, for him specifically.
Yeah, but anyways, we're specific to the pass catchers in Green Bay. We're closing it out for this week.
To recap, keep it open or close it out. Here's Matthew's rankings, of course, and also the closes. And we're going to jump to Roto World player news in just a second. But Kirk Cousins is a close at QB 20.
Yep.
Devin Singletary, keep it open, RB 26 for Singletary. Good matchup. Jaylen Warren is a close at RB 37. Deontay Johnson open at wide receiver 33. Terry McLaurin open at wide receiver 37. We just went over Kirk and Christian Watson. They are both closes. Wide receiver 42, wide receiver 48.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.